After spending 31 incredible days exploring Vietnam, I wanted to share a summary of my journey, starting in the northern part of the country. This is the story of my adventure on the legendary Ha Giang Loop. After 2 incredible days trekking through Sapa's rice terraces and ethnic minority villages, it's time to continue north. But we're not done with Vietnam's mountains yet, not even close. This morning, we're leaving Sapa behind and heading even deeper into northern Vietnam. Our destination, the legendary Ha Giang Loop, often called Vietnam's most spectacular road trip. Over the next several days, we'll be exploring dramatic mountain passes, remote ethnic villages, and landscapes that will make Sapa look tame. Let's go. The journey from Sapa to Ha Giang Province takes about 3 hours by bus. As we leave the familiar terraced valleys of Sapa behind, the landscape begins to change. The mountains become more rugged, the roads more winding, and slowly, you realize you're entering a different world entirely. We're not heading directly to Ha Giang City. Instead, we're starting our adventure at a beautiful location that will serve as our gateway to the loop. Welcome to our first stop, a stunning property nestled in the mountains with views that immediately tell you, this is going to be special. We're staying at Sky Bay Lodge just outside Ha Giang City. It's the perfect place to rest before tomorrow's adventure begins. But rest can wait. It's late afternoon, the light is perfect, and this view deserves to be captured. This is the moment when you realize the landscape in northern Vietnam is about to completely change. Sapa was beautiful, lush, green, terraced. But Ha Giang is dramatic, rugged, and absolutely jaw-dropping. Time to get the drone up and see what we're really dealing with here. From above, you can see how the mountains stack upon each other, layer after layer, disappearing into the distance. This is the Ha Giang landscape, karst limestone peaks, deep valleys, and roads that snake through terrain that seems impossible to cross. As the sun sets on our first evening, there's a sense of anticipation. Tomorrow, we meet our driver and the real adventure begins. Good morning from Ha Giang Province. Today is the day. We're about to embark on the Ha Giang Loop, and we've made a decision that might surprise some people. Most travelers do the Ha Giang Loop on motorbikes. It's become famous for being one of the world's great motorcycle routes. But we're doing it differently. We've hired a private driver. Meet Happy. That's actually his name, and trust me, it fits. For the next 4 days, Happy will be driving us through some of the most spectacular and challenging roads in Southeast Asia. Why a private driver instead of a motorbike? Several reasons. First, safety. These roads are no joke. Second, comfort. We can focus entirely on the scenery and taking photos instead of navigating hairpin turns. And third, expertise. Happy knows every viewpoint, every village, and every story along this route. All right, Happy. Let's see what Ha Giang has for us. Our first morning with Happy isn't about rushing to famous viewpoints. It's about understanding the real life in these mountains. We stop where locals are collecting water directly from the mountain. In many villages here, this is still how people get their drinking water. Pure mountain spring water flowing naturally from the rocks. It's a small moment, but it's these interactions that remind you, this isn't just a scenic road trip. People have been living in these mountains, adapting to this challenging terrain, for generations. Our first official stop is this small local store, Chuan Tap Hoa, right in the main square of a small mountain village. Happy wants us to see authentic mountain life before we start chasing viewpoints. This is where locals come to buy supplies, chat with neighbors, and go about their daily routines. It's not touristy. It's not Instagram famous. But it's real. And that's exactly why we're here. After exploring the village, it's time for one of the most important parts of Vietnamese travel culture, the cafe stop. We pull over at this roadside cafe with mountain views, and Happy introduces us to something I'm about to become obsessed with. Look at this crema. This is Vietnamese coffee done right, strong, sweet, and with that perfect layer of foam on top. This cafe might look simple, but the coffee? World class. And the view? Even better. Happy tells us this is the rhythm of the Ha Giang Loop. Drive for an hour, stop at a cafe with a view, drive some more, stop at another viewpoint. It's not about rushing, it's about savoring every moment and every vista. And then, we reach our first major destination, Quan Ba Heaven Gate. This is one of the most famous viewpoints on the entire Ha Giang Loop, and it's easy to see why. Heaven Gate sits at a high mountain pass, and from here, you get your first real glimpse of what the Ha Giang karst landscape is all about. These limestone karst formations rise up like ancient stone towers. They're called karst peaks, formed over millions of years by water eroding the limestone rock, leaving behind these dramatic spires and cliffs. The valley spreads out below, with small villages tucked between the mountains, rice fields following the contours of the land, and roads weaving through terrain that seems impossible to navigate. Of course, the best way to appreciate the scale is from above. From the drone, you can see why they call this Heaven Gate. It feels like you're standing at the entrance to another realm, a landscape so dramatic it doesn't quite seem real. The mountains stack upon each other in every direction. Small roads wind through impossible passes. And in the valleys below, life continues as it has for centuries. This is just the beginning. Happy tells us that what we're seeing now, as spectacular as it is nothing compared to what's coming in the next few days. But right now, in this moment, at Heaven Gate, it's hard to imagine anything more beautiful. After Heaven Gate, Happy takes us somewhere completely different. Not a viewpoint or a mountain pass, but a place to understand the cultural heritage of this region. Welcome to a traditional hemp processing workshop run by local women. Hemp has been grown and processed in northern Vietnam for centuries. The ethnic minority groups here, particularly the Hmong people, have used hemp to create clothing, blankets, and textiles that are both beautiful and incredibly durable. What's fascinating here is watching the entire process. From the raw hemp plant to finished cloth, every step is done by hand using traditional methods. The women working here are incredibly skilled. They're separating the hemp fibers, spinning them into thread, and weaving that thread into cloth, all using techniques passed down through generations. These aren't demonstrations for tourists. This is a real workshop producing real products. The hemp cloth made here is used by local families and sold to visitors who appreciate traditional craftsmanship. The finished products are beautiful. Hemp cloth has this natural texture and strength that synthetic fabrics just can't match. And every piece represents hours of skilled hand work. If you visit the Ha Giang Loop, this workshop is worth a stop. It's a reminder that the loop isn't just about dramatic scenery. It's also about preserving cultural traditions that have existed in these mountains for centuries. As afternoon turns to evening, we continue deeper into Ha Giang Province. The roads get narrower, the mountains more dramatic, and the villages more remote. Our destination for the night is Dong Van, a historic mountain town that will serve as our base for exploring the northernmost reaches of Vietnam tomorrow. We're staying at a small hotel right in the heart of Dong Van town. It's a family-run place with that perfect mix of comfort and local character. After a full day of driving, viewpoints, cultural experiences, and endless mountain scenery, it feels good to check in, drop the bags, and know that tomorrow, the adventure continues. Dong Van is special. It's one of the highest towns in Vietnam, surrounded by karst peaks on all sides. Tomorrow, we'll explore the famous sites around here, including what Happy says is the most dramatic road in all of Vietnam. But tonight, we rest. Because day one with Happy has already shown us, the Ha Giang Loop is everything people say it is, and more. From Sapa's terraced valleys to Ha Giang's karst mountains. From the peaceful sunset at Sky Bay Lodge to the dramatic vistas of Heaven Gate. From meeting Happy and learning about hemp traditions to arriving in the remote town of Dong Van. This is just the beginning. Tomorrow, Happy is taking us to Ma Pi Leng Pass, what many consider the most spectacular mountain road in Southeast Asia. And after that, even more remote villages, higher passes, and landscapes that will push the limits of what we thought was possible. The Ha Giang Loop is living up to every expectation. Stay tuned for part 2, where things get even more dramatic.